Hello and welcome to the Cooey and Carry On podcast. I'm Gemma.
And I'm Lorna, and we are here to chat all things slings and chat to you today with the lovely Jordan from the Babywearing OT. So we will drop all the links and socials and stuff in the show notes after, so you can make sure to follow Jordan. So hello, good morning to you, afternoon for us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
You're welcome. So, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what you do, what you offer, and obviously you do two different things, but how they cross over as well.
Sure. Yeah. So I am both an occupational therapist and a certified baby wearing consultant. I own my own private practice and it has kind of two branches, like you said. I've got the occupational therapy side of things, which is home health based locally where I live, which is near Columbus, Ohio. And so I go visit parents and babies in their home. And, if the babies are having any developmental issues, we work on that. If the parents are having difficulties with the transition into parenthood, we work on that. And then kind of the larger portion of my business lately has been the baby wearing side of things. I do baby wearing consultations locally, home visits, same thing as the OT, and workshops and things, but I do virtual consultations worldwide. And that's been kind of the bulk of my business this year. I've also contracted with a couple brands to help them with their fit check processes. So that's been really nice as well. Yeah, just really love what I do outside of baby wearing and OT. I'm a mom to a 2.5-year-old and, love to try to find time for hobbies like crafting and gardening. But you know how it goes when you own your own business. You don't always find time for that kind of stuff on top of parenting. So
Yeah. Every spare minute that you have is doing something with the business.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a
Yeah.
thing the other day and it was quite nice. It was you're a small business owner, you're not burned out, you're exhausted because you're doing the job of six people. And I was like,
That's so
that's
true.
very true because when you own your own business, you're doing every single part. There's no one there to pick up the
Yeah,
slack or do something else, other part of it.
right.
You're doing everything. So you are doing
Well,
the job of six people
and I
or
feel like
more.
social media especially is like its own like full-time job. It's kind of exhausting. I think like sometimes people are really surprised that I have a job outside of social media. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like I don't do social media for a living. Like I actually work like an 8 to 5, like,
Yeah.
during the day.
But you
But like
understand why people do it. Like people do
yeah,
it full time. It's like I'd just be exhausted to do it full time,
yeah,
even though
right.
it feels like we do it full
It
time
kind
for
of
this
feels like
anyway.
almost a full time. I mean, by the time you like, especially if you start to diversify and you're like, oh, let me do Instagram. Well, and then I need to make something slightly different for TikTok because the audience is different.
Yeah.
And then maybe I
Yep.
should make a long version of that for YouTube. And then maybe I should, and then you're like, oh my gosh, that's like hours of work for like one type of content?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a
Definitely.
friend who, when she was doing her social media content, she used to have her tablet recording and her phone and her laptop. So she would do them all in the different aspect ratios as she was recording because it was just
Oh,
easier than
that's
having to.
so nice.
That
I
is
know, right? I was
genius.
like, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
big brain
Because
thinking.
that's the thing as well. Like obviously YouTube it has to be landscape,
Yes,
Mhm.
Instagram
right.
has to be portrait, and
Yeah,
then
TikTok is
dependent,
portrait.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then depending on if you're doing a talking head or you're doing a tutorial, you need to be in or
Right.
closer or
Mhm.
out. And then it's like I've done it before where I've done a live, I've done a Facebook live and Instagram live where I've had like the laptop
Yeah.
on Facebook, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
right, here's Facebook. I'm like, there's Instagram, and how are you doing?
And
And
then
what
you're
are you
trying to
doing?
like monitor the comments on
Yeah.
both, and it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
and then you're like, who am I looking at? Who? I just
yeah.
stare in the middle.
Let me just one eye in each direction. Yeah.
If only.
Yeah. Oh God, I hate social media. I hate doing it. So I went up to Inverness. So I'm down in Glasgow and Lorna's up in Inverness. We're about 3.5 hours apart
Aye, about
by
that.
Mhm.
car. So I know in America that's like a standard commute, but over here that's quite far away.
Yeah.
Right.
So we went up to Inverness this weekend and we had a chat with Lorna and she was like, "Well, you're here, content."
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Yeah, because she's always messaging me like, "Could you just send me some pictures, some like videos?" And yes, I'll do it and never do it. Never.
Yeah. So when she's here
Yeah.
or when I go down the road, I'm like, let's get stuff done.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, and then that's like a whole other weird aspect. Like, it snowed here, and I was like, oh, it's snowing. What can I film out in the snow right now? Or,
Hmm.
like you travel and you go to the beach and you're like, should I be filming something about the beach while I'm
Yeah.
here? Or
Hmm.
like, it's just weird how
It,
trying to figure out like
yeah.
boundaries around it too. So
Yeah, I know. It's like you're going to the beach and you want a nice family day, but you're also like that could make some really good but
yeah,
the
I
whole
could bring
thing
a
is,
water carrier. Yeah.
yeah, you're always thinking of like how can I turn this, how can I make
Mm.
this relatable, or how can I make it into baby wearing? Like we did a video. I
Yes.
don't know if you've seen, me and Gemma did a video, and I was like, this is really fun and it was hilarious, but also it needs to be relevant. So how do I
Yeah.
make it? And I managed to wangle away around to make it. But yeah, it's always that as well, and you're having to
Yeah.
think. So with your OT, do you ever
Hmm.
get clients that like book in with you for both options?
Uh-huh.
Or do you get them that start off as an OT and then come to you or get into baby wearing because you've seen them as an OT?
Yeah, no, definitely there's crossover. I actually had my own like OT practice before I decided to niche down into baby
Mm,
wearing. And the reason I decided like, oh, I need to go get more training and like work on baby wearing is I was like, literally every OT client that I'm seeing could benefit from baby wearing education and using baby wearing as part of like either the treatment for the baby or the treatment for the parent. And it's like, why are we not like automatically teaching these two things together? So I think
yep.
there's tons of crossover since I have like a higher volume of baby wearing clients right now. I tend to see the funnel works like I'll do a baby wearing session with someone in person and then they'll be like, oh, like I'm noticing your child has torticollis or like plagiocephaly or,
Mm.
do you want to also talk about OT? And so sometimes we'll funnel over that way. With my OT clients, I think I just automatically try and put baby wearing in there. So
Just throw it in there somewhere.
but yeah, it's definitely so much crossover. And I think it's wild. Like when I was in school, we had an entire semester on pediatrics and like
Mm.
all of the milestones and the development from like birth all the way up. And I don't think anyone ever said the word baby wearing or talked about baby carriers the entire time I was getting training. And
Mm.
it's just crazy to me because it's like, there's so much crossover between like what you do
Yeah.
as an OT and what like baby wearing consultants do. And obviously you can work together and that's great, but it's like I almost feel like it should be mandatory, like if you're going to be in pediatrics, that you have like a basic, at least, baby wearing safety and positioning
Yeah.
class. Even
Mm.
if you're not going to become an educator and learn all the different carriers, you can always refer out. But it's like if you're working with babies or parents, you should know like the very, very basics because it's
Yeah.
like it needs to happen, you know?
Yeah.
I think, I mean, you won't get arguments from us about that. So one of the things that one of the things that I do is I'm a baby reading educator. I'm also breastfeeding supporter.
Very cool. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and I do parenting coaching as well. But the within the baby weaning and breastfeeding industries, especially, we get a lot of parents who don't come to us until the babies are 3, 4 months at a
Yeah.
minimum, and then by that point, a lot of the time when it would have been easiest to learn things because your
Yes.
baby is very compliant. They just lie there sleeping a lot of the time.
Just a
So
potato.
yeah, it's just a potato.
Yeah.
So it's easier to learn a new skill with a tiny baby that just sits there and you have
Yes.
to practice the airway
Mm.
rather than a
The
toddler or like
wiggly,
a
twisty.
yeah,
Like,
like a 4 month old who's like, I want to see everything. I want to touch
I
things,
want to put it in my mouth. Like,
Yeah,
Yes.
they're like, they've got hands now, and I know what they do. You know,
Grabbing, pulling
yeah.
hair.
Well, I know, like, from an OT perspective, like, with things like torticollis or plagiocephaly or some of the like oral motor latch deficit type things, like, if you can catch it in 0 to 3 months, there's like a
Mhm.
way higher success rate with way less sessions. Like, you just need less treatment because they're so plastic at that point. And it's like
Mhm.
the longer you wait, like, you can still work through those things, but it just takes
Harder.
longer and it's harder because they're already forming like the muscle memory and starting to, kind of develop their musculoskeletal system. So I think it is kind of frustrating when like parents don't know that like the best time to reach out is like right the very first time you notice something at like a week old, rather
Yeah.
than. But sometimes I think too it's a capacity issue. Like parents know something's off, but it's like they're just in the trenches of the third trimester and the fourth
Hmm.
trimester, and it's like they can't imagine going out to appointments or, whatever. Scheduling even just feels daunting, researching who to get in touch with. So, I mean, it's
and
tough.
I
Yeah.
do think so. We tend to, again, because it tends to be the mums that stay home a bit more with the
Yeah.
babies. The dads even over here, like the dads are packed back to work after 2 weeks. That's all they're legally
Mm.
entitled to.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we get 9 months, but the men 2 weeks back to work. A lot of
That's so
companies still
sad.
will expand
Yeah.
that. It's really sad. But when you've got the mums who are sitting there going, there's something wrong with my baby, we very quickly will tell them, you're just imagining it. There's nothing wrong. You're just depressed because you've
Yeah.
just had a baby.
Yep.
And you will minimize their fears and concerns. And so I think having somebody like yourself who can come in and go, no, actually, I can see what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And we've actually got this really simple intervention. We're going to put your baby on your chest and you're just going to hold them. Like
Hmm.
it's what a simple intervention, like rather than having to go, okay, well, here's loads and loads of other really medicalized chat
Yeah.
that is very, very scary. Just hold your baby for a bit and
Yeah.
you'll feel better, but
Hmm.
also we can make benefits to your baby. So
Yeah.
I think seeing more OTs doing baby wearing stuff would be really, really beneficial, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely. Like I've had to refer a couple of people to local OTs because um babies have got really tight muscles and stuff, and we
Hmm.
talk about like, okay, have you seen this baby, and this baby will only look this way, and it's like obviously
Yeah.
babies do always usually have a preference of a side that they'll turn their head to, but I've seen a few babies and they will only like
Yeah. They can't.
there's
Yeah.
no way to turn, and I'm like, you just have to be aware of like watching how the parents holding them and how they're sitting
Mhm.
and how they're saying it's like, okay, there's something going on wrong, not
Yeah.
on there. And it's always hard being able to approach that. Like
Yes.
if you were speaking to us like as an OT, how would you, if we came across somebody like that in a session, what would
Mhm.
be the best way to approach that? And obviously we know that they need to be referred to an OT, but how would we kind of go about that in the best way?
Yeah. So, the nice thing is like sometimes if you just point it out gently, parents will be like, oh my gosh, you're right. I've had a lot of
Mm.
parents that are like, I've been baby wearing and I noticed they only nap with their head to the left
Mm.
every single time. And I'm like, you're
Yeah.
right. But I think, just saying like I always start with a question. Like I go up and I'm like, have you noticed that your baby tends to sleep facing always left? Have you noticed that they like to look left a lot? When you breastfeed, do you feel like one side is easier than the other?
Hmm.
And, I let them answer those questions. And a lot of times, if you just ask the question to them, they will be like, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, yes. And then that's when you
Mm.
can be like, okay, well, so when baby has a head turn preference like that, and it's a majority of the time, it's
Hmm.
noticeable enough that you can very clearly see a pattern. Typically, that is probably a diagnosis of torticollis. It means that the muscle on one side of their neck has just shortened, and you might also notice that they kind of cock their head like in a specific way too.
Hmm.
And thankfully, that's really easy to fix when they're young. You just refer them to OT or PT, and OT and PT is going to come. They're going to support you, and they're going to give you a really simple set of like home things that you can do that include baby wearing and
Yeah.
stretches and just positioning them different ways in the bed or in the bassinet or while you're changing diapers. It's very manageable. And the sooner you do it, the easier it is. And I have some people I can refer you to. Here's a list of people I work with that I trust.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And I would just go about it that way and just say I would not say like, oh, why didn't you notice this sooner? I mean, not that you would, but
No,
sometimes
yeah.
people will be like, wow, it's really obvious to me. Like we don't want to say stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
your
yeah.
baby obviously only looks left. Like things like
Yep.
that are kind of painful. So it's like I always start with a question, and then once we get a dialogue going, just say like, this is something, it's not serious. They're not, like they're not going to die. They're fine,
Yeah.
but also we can make their life better and make your life better. And here's a list of
Mhm.
people I love and trust. And
Yeah.
I would
It's
love
always
to
about
like,
supporting them gently
yes,
to guide them in the right way rather than overwhelming and scaring them. I think it's
yes,
you want it
absolutely.
to be safe, but
Yeah. And you
also,
can even share, like, I think the statistic is something like if they get referred in the first 3 months of life, there's over a 99% success rate with less than 10 visits. I mean,
wow.
it's like fast. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
had I have also had like a few people in that are already dealing with getting
Yeah.
OT as well, which is nice. And they come in and maybe the OT is mentioned about baby wear and
Amazing.
stuff,
I
which
love
is nice.
that.
Doesn't happen very often
Sure.
up here, but it is nice when it happens. So we look at options like in the sling, how's baby sitting? How
Yes.
can we, like, if baby only looks this way, how can we get them to go over this way? We can
Yes.
look at if they're in a stretchy, for example, we can try flipping this side and covering this side,
Yes.
adding toys and things.
Yep.
That's kind of things that I would always recommend and saying like, okay, and then tummy time, have all the toys and distraction this side, don't have anything that side, or just a wall. So there's
Yes. No, you're
nothing,
totally
nothing
right.
exciting, just try and
Yes.
always go. But it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice when
Yeah.
clients are open and
Yeah.
wanting to kind of learn and stuff.
Yeah. And I think, the nice thing is like it's always to baby's tolerance, right? There's no
Mhm.
forcing them. There's no like holding them in a position while they scream, like none of that. Because if
Mm,
baby is tense, then that's already like it's not gonna fix the problem. And so the
yeah.
nice thing about like services like this is it's like it's going to be gentle. It's going to be calm. Like we're not going to let your baby cry for like a very long time because
Yeah.
we don't want
Yeah.
them to be tense during. And so I think sometimes parents are scared that they're going to like start these treatment programs when they're going to have to be like turning their baby's head and their baby's going to be
Yeah.
screaming and like and it's not ever like that. It's
Yeah.
like very like if your baby only tolerates a few seconds each time you try, great. Then like
Yeah.
that's what their starting point and we'll work up to it. So but you're
Yeah.
totally spot on with your treatment ideas. You should have been an OT.
Mhm.
I don't have
Um,
any time for any of that now.
yeah. Well, the thing is obviously here, we have the NHS, so you can get OT
Right.
through the NHS.
Yes.
So I've had referrals before from OTs, from
Amazing.
physios, from osteopaths and stuff, and
Yeah.
because we see children who've obviously got hip dysplasia. That's hip
Yes.
dysplasia demonstrated with my hands, obviously.
That's what
I
this
drew a
means.
hip. Um, but what I tend to find is that because we are not medically trained and we are not
Mhm.
in any of the allied health professions, it can sometimes be challenging for parents to go between baby wearing
Yeah.
experts, which we are, and
Mhm.
go back to the medical professionals and say, well, you told me I couldn't carry, and we've been advised that carrying could support us. And
Yeah.
it sometimes puts the parent in a very tricky position where we're
Yes.
going, actually, there's no reason that we can see that you
Mhm.
couldn't use a carrier. However, we're not medically trained. Could you go and talk to your doctor and see what you think? Um, and I suppose in your position, that's much easier because you can go, well, I am an allied health
Yeah.
professional. I have like I have the skill set here. Whereas for us, we often have to go, yes, your baby's in boots and bars. We can support carrying,
Mhm.
but not in whatever wide base carrier you're using right now. You're going to have to use something different.
Right.
Um, so I suppose my question would be along the lines of, do you find that you ever butt heads with other medical professionals who might say things like,
Yeah.
"Oh, but you're only just an OT. What would you know?"
Yeah, no, I mean, it actually like this is a thought I have quite often that I feel sad that I think part of the reason that like my business has taken off so well, that my page does well on social media is that I am also an OT and that
Mhm.
makes people take me more seriously. And that kind of sucks. Like it's good. It's good
Mhm.
because then it's like another avenue to get baby wearing education out to people and to make connections to allied health, but also it sucks that people don't take baby wearing educators seriously by themselves, you
Yeah.
know? Like I have had I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people where it's like we could all co-treat and we could collaborate on this care and we could all work together and they like want to dismiss like the
Mhm.
baby wearing educator because they're just a baby wearing educator and it's like
Yeah.
well, this is your subject matter expert, though. Like, this is the person that knows more about this one area than you do. And so you should be collaborating with them. They're not going to come in and tell you how to do your job as a pediatrician or a lactation consultant or whatever. But, like, for the baby wearing portion, it absolutely is best
Mhm.
practice to bring them on board and make sure that you
Yeah.
understand what's going on and that the parent is well supported. So I think I butt heads less on like people being like, oh, you're just an OT because OTs are taken like relatively seriously over here in the US. Like sometimes you'll get like an MD or a pediatrician who kind of is like, well, your job is this and this is my job, and they don't collaborate as well. But I don't see that so much anymore. I
Good.
feel like recently it's gotten a little bit better, at least where I work. I'm sure that's not necessarily true everywhere, but I do see a lot of like dismissal of just like the baby wearing educator field. And that's the one that bothers me, is like I have definitely had many conversations with people who are only listening to what I'm saying about baby wearing because I'm also an OT.
Yeah.
And that is like frustrating and incorrect. So
Yeah. It's
I'm
like,
not sure what the answer is to like get, you know, get you guys on board, because I don't know if it's like a liability thing or a training thing or what, like where the gap is, but like there's a
Well, I
gap
mean,
and something needs to happen.
only obviously speak for how it works over here, but certainly the discussions that have been had between like the NHS and the baby wearing industry here is that basically our training, they don't know or trust our training,
Gotcha.
because there are, again, I don't know how you train in the US. I mean, over here there are what I think three baby wearing schools at the minute, Lorna.
Yeah,
yeah,
we just have one main one over here. The Center for
Is
Baby
that
Wearing
the
Studies is
yeah
kind of the one. So,
yeah? Because I mean, I've done some training with Amy Rainbow. She does a join, which you can train to do peer
okay,
support
yeah.
through that. And she's lovely. But there's aside from that, just Centre Baby Wearing Studies. I think you're right. Yeah. Whereas over here we've got Sling a Baby, Carrying Matters,
I
School Baby
carry my or
Wearing,
school of baby wearing.
I
and
would die
then
to take Carrying Matters training, you guys.
Oh
I'm not even
yeah.
like
I
angel.
haven't,
Dr.
yeah.
Rosie. I'm like, I fangirl so hard over her.
See, the first time I met Rosie, she knew who I was, and I was like, I was like, you know who I am? I was like,
What
oh
a
my
moment. I would
God.
have been like, excuse me?
I was, but she is the most down to earth.
She's so sweet.
She is
Yeah, she seems like
amazing.
such a cool person.
Amazing. But yeah,
Yeah.
I want to do her course, but because part of it is in person and
Right, exactly.
I'm the top of the country and she's like almost at the bottom. So
We should all just take a road trip together and just
come on, you start now and you'll catch up.
Well, to be fair, I've done her course and I can highly recommend it.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know, and I missed out on that one. I'm not happy.
Yeah, sucks to be you. Um, but yeah, what Rosie does really well in her course actually is that she does what everybody else does, which is she teaches you all about the different
Yeah.
carriers and how to fit them and all of that lovely stuff. But she has a medical specific part of it where she
Yeah.
talks about things where she gives you dolls with boots and bars, with harnesses, with oxygen tanks and tubing, and
Amazing.
she's like,
Yeah.
let's fit these dolls. Like
Yeah. I love that.
because again, as educators, we do see these children.
Hmm.
However, very much we see them in very specific circumstances. They're
Yeah.
not our average client. Actually, one of my clients I had in child, I think was about 7, and they had cerebral palsy.
Hmm.
And that was a tricky one to fit because
Yeah.
when I saw him, he had great tone because he was
Okay.
awake, he was alert, he was moving about. But the second he went to sleep or relaxed, had absolutely no muscle tone in his body.
Okay.
So couldn't be in anything soft structured, had to be in something very firm.
Hmm.
But because of his age, was too big for most carriers. So
Right.
I had at the time a wee carry Kevin,
Okay.
which is a
Yeah.
US carrier, is amazing. And
Yeah.
for anyone listening, if you do have an additional needs child, they're worth looking at, and you can
Hmm.
ship them into the UK for free, or not for free. You don't pay customs on them because they're a disability equipment. For anybody listening,
Good to know.
but just as a point, but we ended up getting a really good fit with that because it has the wrist rest and the leg
Yeah.
rests and all the padding for the lumbar support and stuff. So it was really, really good. But again, even having done things like Rosie's course and been doing this for 7 or 8 years now,
Hmm.
I still was like, what do I do with a 7-year-old with cerebral palsy who needs support? And
Yeah.
they were going climbing up hills, they needed a carrier.
Mm.
And so I was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And so it was phenomenal that we had that carrier to hand, but again, you got to work with what you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it
Yeah.
would have been good to like collab with like a hospital or any team that
Mhm.
they were dealing with as well. I had one where I had a mum with a prem baby who had
Mhm.
contacted me and asked for me to go in for a session at the hospital, which always happy to do. But because I am a business and not like an NHS person, then the hospital can be a bit funny about that.
Yeah.
And I remember going in and I'd gone in and seen her, and I didn't want to rush the session because baby was not on any tubes or anything, but in the incubator and only
Okay.
teeny, teeny, tiny, tiny. And I went in and I spent time with her first with the dolls, talking about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, showing her how the sling worked and stuff. And then we went to meet the baby. And then because I had to rush, I was like, right, I'm going to come back later because I don't want to rush this part because this is the important part with baby.
Right.
And I remember the head nurse at the time walked past and was like, I was like, oh, I'll be back later on. And she's like, oh, yeah, I told her she wouldn't be able to use a sling. And I was like, no,
Right.
he totally can. And that's why
And
I'm here because that's my job. I was
right.
so angry. I was like,
Yeah.
must be professional. But also, I was like, you do not know what you're talking about. You're obviously very, very good at what you do, but you don't know about this. So don't discuss
Yeah.
it. Don't, that's
Right.
like
Well, and to
me.
say it in such a discouraging tone too
It
is like the
was.
hard thing.
And the fact that she'd said this to the mum as well, like this
Yeah.
postpartum mum with an early baby who wasn't expected to be early, baby was in SCBU or NICU, and just to be so disheartening about that. And I was just like, and then we got her, and then all the nurses were coming over and being like, "Oh wow, look at this!" And she was so happy. And
Yeah.
then another mum, an incubator behind. She was getting out of hospital next week, and then she came to see me as well. I was like, oh,
Oh, I
so
love
nice.
that.
So it was like
So
just
nice.
show you how
Yeah.
beneficial it can be so early as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely
I
one
mean,
of
we
one of
did
my top ones.
so much carrying and skin to skin with my son when he was in the NICU. Like,
Hmm.
and I don't think I would have survived that, just like as the parent, without
Yeah,
being able to do that.
yeah,
So,
definitely. I wish I'd known or someone who could have supported me when my daughter was in SCBU. Like
yeah.
I was so ready for it. If anything happened and my son was born, I was like, I know exactly what to do. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Yep.
do it all. And then I was kind of like, obviously, I was delighted that he didn't need to, but I was like,
Sure.
I don't need to use these skills now because I
Yeah.
don't need them. It's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
What do I do
yes.
with this baby who doesn't need the NICU? Like, weird.
But I wrapped him skin to skin, and I was like walking around the ward, and all other
Yeah.
parents were like baby in the thing and they're walking around and getting breakfast, and I was there with baby in a sling eating the
Aw.
breakfast, and I was just like, check me out. It was great.
Yeah.
It was just the
Yeah.
nicest.
Actually, I got memories up on my phone this week because it was 4 years ago this week that my daughter got admitted to start her tube feeding journey.
Yeah.
And so I've got all these memories popping up on my phone and me just looking miserable, walking about with my daughter strapped to me in the hospital. Because again, it was deep in COVID time. Like it would have been 2021. So we were coming out
Okay.
of COVID.
Yeah.
The hospitals were all still on really strict, like you weren't to leave
Yeah.
your room, you couldn't
Mm.
go to the playroom and anything, they were all shut. So I was just wandering about this room on my own with a stand beside me with full of
Yeah.
milk, 2-year-old strapped to my back to try and stop her from screaming. And I'm so grateful that I had the skill set to be able to
Yeah.
keep
Hmm.
this. Um, because she was on 12-hour feeds, so she'd start at like 7 o'clock at
Okay.
night and stop at 7 in the morning.
Mm.
So for just 12 hours, she had to be strapped or beside me so that I could keep care for her. And it's just, if I didn't have that skill set, I don't know how I would have coped. And I think certainly for parents of children with additional needs, carrying is something that is wildly beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah. Or for parents who I work with a lot of parents who have disabilities, and it's like, they're like, I literally don't know how I'm supposed to like transport my child when I'm
Hmm.
also like using a wheelchair or using a walker, or just don't know if I trust the strength in my arms or whatever. And so
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, we all know the benefits. We could gab
I
about the
know. Yeah, we
benefits for
could
everybody
we it
forever,
just
but
I wish like the hospitals would work with us more here.
yeah.
Obviously, I think it's different where you are, but like here it's very
Oh,
much,
yeah.
but also like with us, because we're businesses, where most of
Yeah.
us are solo businesses, it is very much red tape. And
Yeah.
I've been waiting. It's been about 3 years now where I was in a hospital and did some training with the
Yeah.
team in Skiboo, and I'm still waiting for them to get their legislation sorted that I can actually come in and do some work.
Yeah.
So there's just,
Unfortunately, I feel like it would be
yeah,
about the same here. Like unless you
yeah,
already have your foot in the door as a business
Yeah.
that has like gone through all of the, our little like sole proprietor businesses, like
yeah,
getting your foot in the door in the hospital is insane. All of the like therapists I know that have their own private practices, the only reason they like are able to like work with hospitals and things is if they used to work for the hospital. And so like
yeah.
they've
They know
already
the right
taken all
people.
the trainings and
Yeah, it is
yeah,
though. It's not what you know, it's who you know a lot of
yeah,
the time,
literally.
Always.
because it's
Always.
so frustrating. But it is just like, think how many, all we want to do is support parents to
Yeah.
carry their babies and to carry them safely. And
Yeah.
think like even in, I don't know where you are. So for parents that are expectant, then we
Uh-huh.
have what's it called again, Gemma? Like the groups for when you're pregnant in the hospital.
Antenatal groups.
That's the one. Yeah, so
Wow. You are on it today.
shh, behave. So yes, there was an that wasn't the word I was thinking of, but it'll do. So we have like groups
Okay.
when they all get together and they go through like feeding, a wee tour of the hospital, the labor ward and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And like feeding
What
cues and
groups do you
talking
have
about,
up north?
eh?
We don't get that. We
You
don't
don't
get
get
that
that.
down here. No,
Oh,
I only
well,
got a walk. I only got a walk through with my sex. Sorry, this is an
Yeah,
absolute
I
side.
was gonna
I
say
only
we
got a
have
walk.
a hospital tour and like that's it. If
oh
you want
No,
a
we
yeah,
don't
group,
get
you
hospital
you
tours.
pay like a doula or something privately to like join
yeah.
a group. That way, or you
No,
find a
well,
community group,
I say this
or
with my first, it was a lot better, and it was over like three evenings over three
yeah.
weeks. So it was like every Wednesday evening for like 3 weeks, and you went in this height of summer, heavily pregnant, height of summer, in this room with no air conditioning,
Oh
and
no, no,
everyone's
no.
like, it was
I forget
not
you guys don't
enjoyable.
have air conditioning over there. That sounds absolutely horrible. I would
Yeah,
die.
no. So it was like, it was really nice, but I didn't get it with my son. So unless
Mhm.
they stopped doing it, we got the hospital tour, we got the evening, but we didn't get the whole like
Yeah,
sit down, meet other couples, chat
right.
about like your birth plan and all that.
See, you're saying couples. So with my first, I got to
Mm,
go to the antenatal classes. It was 6 weeks, and we did things like birthing plans and stuff, and
mm,
what to expect and what drugs you can use, and we did
mm.
a bit of physio and stuff. And then we had the additional breastfeeding class you could go to that was at the hospital.
See, we didn't get that.
But aside from that, we didn't get a hospital tour. And the only reason I got to look around the hospital suite, the labour suite after before my second, was because I was under the perinatal mental health care team.
Mm.
Because I was freaking out about having a second kid.
Yeah.
And meet my second kid, you'll see why I was freaking out. But
She's a
I love
cutie
her dearly.
pie.
She's delicious, but my goodness, is she work? It's adorable. To be fair, it's my first is a lot of work too. They're kids. But that's the thing is that even like I mean, we're not far away from each other, and we're getting vastly different antenatal support.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, and it shouldn't be a postcode lottery. It shouldn't be something, or I suppose a zip code lottery for you,
Yeah.
where it comes down to what
yeah,
street you live on, what support you get.
Mm.
yeah.
And again, in Scotland, again, we're very lucky. I don't know if you know, we get a baby box from
Mm,
the government,
fun.
which is lovely. So you get like some books and you get some clothes, and you get a one-way stretchy wrap.
Okay.
And it's great in theory.
See, you reacted exactly how we were like, oh, a one way.
A
Great
one
for beginners.
for people who are not getting one-to-one support, for people who are not signposted to baby wearing support. So that's our big thing, is to try and just get signposted, or to get a suitable video put on the government's webpage. A
Yeah,
Hmm.
suitable video.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's like here, like
Keywords.
if you like look up, like we have the American Academy of Pediatrics, which is like where parents go if they need information about medicine dosing or breastfeeding or, whatever. And if you like look up like baby wearing, there's like two articles and both of them are sort of fear mongery and like
Mm.
there aren't any like lists of like, if you need baby wearing help, you can
Mm.
go get a fit check with the brand or reach out to an educator or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like, here's what you can and can't do. And I don't agree with a lot of the can and can't do's, and that's like it. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
like,
even over here, we've got BASIS, which is
Yeah.
the baby and infant sleep support,
Hmm.
which is great and it's amazing. Their article on slings was for a while very just don't use them for sleep.
I
And it's
remember
changed now.
that. Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, it's changed now. I think now it's much more you can sleep in them, but there's a lot to be aware of.
yeah.
Okay.
Um
Which is
uh
true.
Mm.
yes. But one second. Sorry, my son's just appeared at the door. Um but yeah, so we do see change in sort of people willing to work with us. But again,
Yeah.
a lot of that's come about because of people like Rosie who are with the
Yeah.
NHS
Right.
and able to bridge that gap for us.
Yeah.
It's not always the case though.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I don't know how much would happen in the legislation and the very little support and connection that we have with these teams without Rosie. Rosie is definitely our
Right.
bridge because she is a
Yes.
GP as well. Um,
Right.
so it is great, but it just wish they would take us a bit more seriously and
Yeah.
listen because we are the experts in our field and
Right.
they need that information. So
Well,
instead of
and I feel like
making it
baby
up
wearing,
themselves.
yeah, the thing too is I feel like baby wearing educators are really good about like staying in their lane.
Hmm.
Like I don't ever see baby wearing educators posting like wild things about other topics as if they like are an authority on
Hmm.
those topics. Whereas like sometimes I see like medical professionals like posting things about things that are not technically like if you go look at the scope of practice for that
Yeah.
profession, they're not within the scope and they're like wilding out posting things and I'm like, that's not really our job or your
Yeah.
job or
It's
whatever.
like,
So it's
I
very
see
interesting.
you.
It's like I feel like baby wearing educators are very consistent about like this is what we know well, this is what we do, this is how we can help, here's what we do. And it's like
Exactly.
a very like obvious subject matter expertise. And so it's just weird to me that there's so much resistance because it's not like you guys are out there saying like well, I'm a baby wearing educator and I notice torticollis, so I'm going to treat torticollis. Like,
Hmm.
no, you
Mhm.
don't do that because
Yeah.
that's wild. You know your
Yeah.
boundaries, but
Yeah.
like so I feel like with baby wearing educators having such a clear area of practice and being so willing to help within their boundaries, like I don't know why there's so much pushback.
Yeah. It's it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Um, I have a question for you,
Okay.
which is it,
Uh-oh. I don't like this
but
laugh.
I my evil
Oh
laugh.
well, she's very set it up in such a good way for you here. This isn't
No, I'm
terrifying at
just
all.
I'm thinking of how to word it. So obviously this is a very in the baby wearing world, this
Okay.
is a hot topic and
Okay.
a grey area. And a lot of people want to discuss. So I thought as
Okay.
an OT, it would be great to have your opinion on it, professional and personal opinion
Okay.
on forward facing. Ooh.
Okay, this is not as scary as I thought it was
Yeah,
going to be.
see,
I
it's
was
not
like,
that
what
bad.
is Laurna about to say to me? Okay. Well, my professional opinion as an OT, if we're just talking about biomechanics and
Hmm.
strain and like ergonomics for both the parent and the baby, it's
Hmm.
not my favorite position. It puts, I think, like people don't realize when you're thinking about like mass and center of gravity and like directional pull, like how much more strain forward facing puts on the
Yep.
adult's body compared to like baby facing in on the front or the back. It is insane. Like
Mm.
the amount of moms that come to me that have pelvic floor issues and or dads with back pain or whatever, and they're like forward facing and they're like, it hurts. I'm like, it's gonna hurt. Like you have a pre-existing condition and you're adding strain on top of
Yeah.
like of course it hurts. Like we can optimize this fit, but it's not going to be comfortable if your body's
Mm.
already uncomfortable with like adding load in that way. You know what I mean? So for me, like I'm really concerned about the parents' well-being. Like if they have any sort of pelvic floor thing going on, I try to dissuade them away from it. And I'm like, look, there's so many other things we can do. We can do a front, we can do a hip carry, we can do a back carry. I think for the baby too, it depends, because there are a few carriers on the market right now that I feel like do like a pretty decent job of supporting like the hips, but you have to think about the parent's body, right? Because especially if you have like a larger chest, even though baby can be like optimally positioned in the butt area, if they're facing out
like that,
like their back is like going to
Yeah.
be arched in a weird direction, or to have pressure on it because you have breast tissue there, and like that, like that's inescapable, right? And so I think like people don't think about the nuances of it that way. They just think about like, well, my baby is 3 to 4 months old now and they are pushing off of me and they're turning.
they're
And
nosy.
they want
They're
to
so
see,
nosy.
they want to see the world. And so, and then you like have these carriers that are marketed as if you have to do inward facing, then world facings next, then back carryings next. And so people, like I've had parents who said, oh, I didn't know I could skip it. I thought that was like what you had to do, like that was the progression. And so I think there's just so much like, there's not enough information. I think it can be done safely. Like you can, if you have the right carrier, you can put your baby in it correctly and they can world face, you know, for short durations of time, and nothing bad is going to happen to them, you know, because you did that. But I think if you're looking at optimal fit and optimal support and protecting your body as the adult as well, and just like keeping your baby as supported as possible, like world facing is just not the position that's going to do that, you know? So if someone really wants to learn it, like if they're dead set on it, I set them up with a carrier that's going to support them well. And we talk about all of those nuances. And I tell them, like, if your back starts hurting, if you feel like your baby's back is smushed, if you're feeling any of those things, we need to like reconsider and take a pause. But I'm not just going to say, no, it's bad, you can't do it, because then people are going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then they're not going to have the education that they need. So I'm of the school of like giving the nuance, pushing towards like, hey, maybe we try a different position. But if someone is like, no, I want to, I'm not going to be like, no, I don't teach that, go find someone else. So it's tricky, but yeah, it's not my fave. And I think, parents don't think about all of the like little things like that because they don't know. It's not, no one talks about it. No one marketing their world facing carrier is going to be like, but make sure you're not hurting your own back, because the second you do that, people are going to be like, you know.
Oh no,
so
but you get ones with a lumbar support, so it's supporting you.
Honestly,
that's not where the strain is happening. I mean, like, anyway,
I hate lumbar support.
We know.
I wish I could put like a diagram of a person up right now and be like, these muscles, they're not in your lumbar, and these are the ones.
So what I'm seeing is we've just given you content for the week. You're welcome. But no, like the lumbar support. So I don't know if you guys have Bako and Boba over there still.
We do, yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of disappeared from the UK for a while, but they're back.
Okay.
It's been very exciting sort of 5 years on the Bako and Boba front. But they have this massive lumbar support that you can thread on and off. And literally anytime I take one out the box, I take the lumbar support and I yeet it into a cupboard. I cannot stand them. I do not think they provide any support. I was going to say,
I think it's a proprioceptive thing. I really do think. I think people feel that pressing on their lower back, and that pressing motion feels nice for a little bit. And so they think like, okay, this is giving me support because I can feel it against the muscles. So it must be doing something. I'm not going to say they don't provide any support, but I'm really hesitant as well to say that they actually provide anything other than the feeling of having something against your back, which some people really like. But I don't know that it's like changing the muscle recruitment or, you know.
Yeah, I usually like to explain, like it's there. It's like someone putting a wee hand on your back.
Yeah,
but everything else can be all awful. Like
exactly.
A lumbar support isn't going to support you. You could have a lumbar support on a really shitty carrier, and it's not going to make it. Is that the language
we're using, Laurna?
Yeah. Like your lower back feels nice because it's being pressed on, but like your hips are out of alignment. Your core is wonky. Yeah,
you're not going to, just because there's a lumbar support isn't magically going to make this carrier more supportive and more comfortable for you.
And not having one doesn't mean it's going to give you back pain. Because I don't know if you get that question a lot, but I get that a lot where people are like, well, I want something that's going to support my back. And I'm like, literally any carrier will support your back if it's fitted properly. Like,
Yep,
truly,
exactly. That's what
you
we
know?
always say as well. Like any carrier will give you support as long as it's
Yeah,
on correctly, it fits your body and it fits your baby.
exactly.
If it
Exactly.
doesn't
One of
do
my
those points, then it's not going to support you.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the carrier design is. Like, there are a few exceptions. Like, I think, like, I don't know if either of you have ever played with the Babu Baby. I think
Mm-hmm.
that the Babu Baby, like with the extra torso support
Yep.
strap, because of the adjustments and things, that one I do think like the design of it lends itself to like actually
Yeah.
offering more
Because it's a
support.
different design, it's a
But
different
exactly.
support.
But like when it
yeah.
comes to like a standard buckle carrier, it's kind of like truthfully the
Yeah.
amount of padding, the way the waistband is, there are some nuances there, but for the most part it's about what fits your body and your baby well, not the carrier itself being the best carrier.
I would say that one of my favorite things to do with people who complain about back issues, as somebody who has had really bad lower back pain my entire life, is because what we often see are people do not understand that the waist belt must be parallel to the ground.
Right. Yes.
And that if the belt is tipped,
Yep.
you are going to experience
Yeah,
pain
it's
in
gonna
your lower
pull.
back.
Hmm.
So what I like to do is I like to get them to put it on with the belt tipped and then push weight into it, and they can feel the pressure coming into
Yes.
their lower. Obviously, we don't do it for a long time and we don't do it to great pain,
Yeah.
but so they can feel the pressure coming in.
Yep.
And then we put it on horizontally, so it's parallel to the ground, and then we put weight into it, and all of a sudden
And
there
then
is
they
no
go,
back pain.
whoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, welcome to the magic of fitting.
Yeah.
And it's the reason I can't get on with ergo babies, not because I think they're a bad carrier. I think they're perfect for what they do. It's just they're not my carrier. But they have that back support that cannot come off, and I find that
Yes.
actually gives
Yeah.
me back pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way it presses into my joints, and then when I back carry in it,
Well,
the
it's a very
pressure on my
like
stomach.
wide, like thick
Yeah.
one too, which causes fit issues for like all kinds of
Oh,
parents, because they're like, I can't tighten it anymore, you
Yeah.
know?
yeah.
Yeah, even if it
So,
Yeah. It's
like the Tula, even if it came out the elastic on one that you could overlap
mhm.
to get it a bit
right.
tighter because
Yes. Yeah. Because
it
the
doesn't
Tula you
fit.
can just like completely remove. Like it's
Yeah,
just like that little
in
piece
a
that you're just
box.
like, bye. I mean, well, for me, I go, bye.
Yeah.
But
Just put it into the box of lumbar supports, suck pads, and hoods that you
Hoods.
have
Yeah.
lying.
hoods, the pile of
Hoods.
hoods.
Yeah.
Well, while we're talking about controversial topics, then as an OT, we often see people say, "Oh well, I need the hood to support the head." The eye roll has been confirmation of where I think you're going
Let's
with
have a
this.
zoom in on that massive eye roll.
So what I tell parents, like if I can throw some like OT jargon in there,
Yep.
is like if we're looking at like cephalocaudal development and like babies developing, like babies are going to develop from the core out. Like they're going to get trunk stability and they're going to get core stability first, and then that's going to lead to then being able to use their arms, their legs, lift their head up, all of those lovely things. Kind of like similarly we see like with the elderly population as they decline, a lot of times like if they're in a wheelchair and their wheelchair is not giving them trunk support, we get slumps, right? It's the same thing. Like you can stick a head support on a wheelchair of an elderly person, and if their wheelchair doesn't fit, they're still just going to be slumped over weird.
Yeah.
And so I tell parents like your baby needs support at the core to even have a shot at having support or movement through the neck and the limbs. And so if you get a carrier that is well fitted to their core from the nape of the neck all the way down to the bottom of the bottom, and then of course like through the thighs for like carrying purposes,
Yep.
but snug. And I think where a lot of people miss that is they will get one that like hits the appropriate height, like it will come up to the nape of the neck, but it won't be snug. So it's not actually giving trunk support. Like there will be like huge pockets of space on either side of baby's body, or like the top of the carrier will come up to that place, but it will be loose and you can like stick a hand down in there. And so if it's loose, it's not giving good trunk support. And so then you have a baby who needs stabilization at the core to be able to move anything else, and they're not getting that. And so of course they're going to have a floppy head. And flopping a hood up or a head support piece on a carrier that's too loose is a safety risk, and it's just badly compensating for the carrier not being snug through the body, So I tell parents like if your baby is a bobblehead, I can almost guarantee you your carrier is too loose somewhere in the body. So
Yeah. And if they've
Yeah.
not got that good base support as
Right.
well, then that's going to cause the
Yeah.
flop. So there's a lot of carriers in the market that are like, it's suitable from £7. And it's like, well,
And
no,
it's
because
like
there's no way.
baggy.
They're
Yes.
so wide as
Yeah,
well.
and
And
there's
they
like
don't go
huge
narrow
pockets of
enough.
space. You can like
Yeah.
fit your hand in there
If
and
your
like feel
your
pockets of
baby can do this
space.
in the carrier,
Right.
if you're not watching, I'm swaying side to side. And if your
So it's
baby
like
can
a
like
captive dance.
if
We should do a
you
TikTok dance to this. The carrier sway. Make it a
if your
trend.
baby this goes into chaos. Yeah, so we're all swaying. If you're not watching, this is why you need to go and watch our podcast as well. So yeah, so I see a lot. I saw one video on Instagram recently, and it was the the issue is that the mum had a carrier that could be adjusted, but she had not
Okay.
adjusted it,
Okay. Yeah.
and she was leaning forward and dancing like that, like with her toddler, and the baby was like away from her body and swaying side
I
to
saw
side.
one of those with a baby viewer and the mom was on a bike and
Oh,
she was leaning forward and like literally there was like a foot of space
yeah,
and the
is that
baby
in the
was
gym? She was in the
rocking.
gym.
Yes. And people
Yes.
were like, "Oh, look, she loves the rocking." And I was sitting
Yeah.
there and I was like,
You're like, that's like she may love the
I
rocking, however, her airway is compromised.
I mean, literally
well,
like on
yeah.
a bike
Oh, it was, and all it would take because that baby was like
to
almost
just
horizontal with the
yeah,
bike.
the baby could have just
One
like
clip to
slid out the
loosen.
bottom. Oh my God,
Oh,
so scary. But like it was a
Yeah,
carrier
there's
that like could have been tightened and like would I do a stationary bike with a baby that young? No. But
no,
like
no.
the carrier could have been tightened and baby could have been snug and supported and instead there was like a foot of space between the mom and the baby
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh
I'll
my
send you
God,
it later because it,
so
yeah, but
scary.
you'll need to see it
Yeah, I
like
got
yourself.
that
thing
blew
is,
up in my DMs. Do you ever get that where people send you all of a sudden you get like 10 of like the same video and you're like,
All the time, all
oh.
the time. And no offense, but it's always American accounts that I get sent. And I'm like,
No, we be wilding out here. It's okay.
I've
No offense
stopped.
taken.
I know this is a
Midwest.
massive area, and so much, and you can only cover so much. Obviously, no one's from your area because they're all
Yeah.
sport. But yeah, it's I find as well as a consultant from the UK, and
Yeah,
I'd still say my account's still quite small. So for
sure.
me to kind of comment on an American account which has got like hundreds of
Oh,
thousands,
it's so hit or miss
it's just
though. You know, it
I
really
either get
depends on.
called a Karen. I'm a Karen because I'm like, oh, keep it
You're
to
always a
yourself.
Karen.
Always a Karen. Apparently Susan's a thing now as well. Like if you're a Susan.
Lorna,
Is there a difference?
we are too old to be using these young kids' terminologies, okay?
No, I'm full of riz. I'm down with the kids.
You do
No,
have a lot of
Lorna,
riz,
you're a mad
Lorna.
bam.
You do
And
have a lot of riz. We'll give it to
you
you.
know you are a bam. Get over it.
Right. So let's go back to our professional chat. So yes, so
Why?
we don't like lumbar supports, we don't like hoods, we don't like headrests. We are not a fan of
Like
forward
lots of
facing.
things, though.
We do
We
like
like
woven wraps.
PFAs. We like
Love PFAs.
adjustable seat widths. We
Yeah.
like
We
like
love
pockets
dual
on carriers.
adjust.
I like a pocket on a carrier.
Yeah,
We love dual
a
adjusters.
useful pocket though.
Yeah,
Useful
no,
pocket.
a useful pocket, not like one
Yeah.
where
I
you're
want
like,
something
why
big
is this
enough to hold
pocket
my
here?
phone.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a big phone. I need to
Yes.
be
Okay, but like
fitness.
literally the Lindy Lamb pockets on their waistbands. Mwah, love those. So
Yeah.
good.
Perfect. Tula, meh.
Yeah, the tools are a little small. I feel
Yeah.
like they were good when their phones were smaller, but our phones are bigger now, so they need
Yeah,
to
in the
be
olden
bigger.
days when we all had a Nokia.
Yeah,
Flip phone. Hello.
oh my gosh.
Right. Let's because we're
I
obviously
was gonna say we should probably.
this is
I feel
rolling
like we
into
could just
chaos. Yeah.
keep like gabbing for like hours, which is probably fun for us, but maybe not good
Fun
for
for us,
listeners.
but not everyone else. They're like, what's going on now? It's just, is there any chat at all? So let's have we got a couple of wee questions. So Gemma, have you got one first? Let me just look through the list.
Here, I'm just looking through.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. Talk amongst yourselves.
I think you guys should do like an after dark version where there's wine involved, so you can just talk all your nonsense.
Do you want to come? That sounds brilliant.
Like I hope people need to go watch just for both of your faces at the same time lighting up in exactly the same like synchronization. That was so funny.
Like, yes, right. This is a plan. Let's have a Christmas online podcast, chaos with wine.
With like hot wine. Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. We're doing it.
Okay,
right.
I'm in there. Okay.
Get a question in here.
Okay. A question. I have many here. So how research? I'm doing it, Camden.
Okay,
right. So so there's obviously research coming out about baby wearing and its benefits and blah 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 blah. But what would you say you find most exciting about the future of sort of the research that's coming out? And is there anything you might want to do research wise that you like? Do you see a hole in the market for that?
Oh man. Okay, so no, I joke that like the next step of my career is to go back to school and get my PhD so that I can have access to like an IRB and to be able to do all the research and everything. No, so one area I would love to see studied, and someone is welcome to take this and run with it if you're listening. I don't need to hold on to it. I just want it to be documented, is I think that baby wearing is potentially leading to parents discovering areas where their baby needs support faster and sooner than if they were not wearing them. Things like torticollis and oral ties and things like that. I have parents who are coming to me and they're like, I'm coming to you because I noticed that my baby always sleeps with their head facing to the right. And they catch it like within the first 2 weeks of life. Whereas like, who knows when they would have caught that if their baby was like not always on their body.
In the bed.
Yeah. So I would love to see someone actually legitimately research the connection between like early intervention requests from parents and baby wearing, and like if a higher frequency of baby wearing is leading to people like seeking early intervention faster and at a higher rate for their babies.
That'd be so good. That'd be cool. Right. So we'll wait on your report on that then.
Well, okay, my tentative timeline is I'm like, okay, if I'm being responsible, if we want another child, I should do that before I sign myself up for a PhD program, because doing both of those things at the same time sounds like
they're both babies in different rights.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying someone can run with that, because it's probably gonna be at least 10 years if it's coming from me, and I would like to see it out sooner. So
right. What tools or education do you think would empower more families to integrate baby wearing into their routines? So we're talking about like antenatal groups and stuff that don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that more brands are offering complimentary fit checks now. I think that that's been really helpful for a lot of parents. Like the quality of those fit checks, I'm sometimes a little concerned with, as I get people who come to me after some of those fit checks, and I'm like, But in general, I would say
actual consultants rather than just social
not
media
a customer
stuff.
Service team member, like someone who is trained on staff that like. But I think like that is a lovely resource that I'm seeing a lot more parents utilize more frequently. I think that's very, very helpful, because like, to be honest, people just don't read the manuals. Like they don't. It's important to have them, and they need to be accurate for the people that do look at them. But like, I'm sure you can say the same. Like in my experience, like people don't read those things before they come to me. I sometimes joke that my job is just to read the manual and teach that to people. But so I like that like brands are taking more responsibility with education. I would like to see that continue. I think, you know, like a lot of the groups we had around here died during the pandemic, and they're like resurging now, which is incredible. So I would love to continue to see more nonprofits opening up that are focusing on like baby wearing groups and community in person and like building those skills. I think that like the pairing of like breastfeeding education and baby wearing is a really easy way to get people in the door for both of those things, because a lot of parents are very willing to seek breastfeeding help for their babies because it feels completely necessary, because that's how they're feeding their child. They're like, we have to do this. And so then like, you know, pairing that with like car seat education and baby wearing education and developmental milestones, like it's a really easy, would be a nice way to get people in the door and to stay for all of those other components too, because I just feel like they're more likely to get help with the breastfeeding rather than with like some of the other stuff that feels like accessory care or whatever.
So many things overlap that it would be so great. Like breastfeeding
wraparound services
and baby
are really
wearing
the answer.
they're just
Yeah.
go hand in hand, I think,
Yeah.
especially.
I think we're seeing more like models here where people are opening like an office suite where like everyone, there's like a lactation consultant and a baby wearing educator and a PT and like all together.
Yeah.
And I think like more of that like wraparound style care is like really, really beneficial, where you can just go and get all of your things taken care of in one place.
See, that would be my dream. There's a
Yeah.
massive space here, and I would just love to win the lottery or a massive grant
Yeah.
and just be like, right, okay, here's a massive space. In this section, you have soft play, which you can leave your
Yes.
child, not just that
Yes.
you have to sit and go through it. And then
Right.
you can have like a physio or a gentle
Yes.
massage for
Yeah, you
any
can go
aches
to your
and pains.
pelvic floor session. Yes.
Exactly. Then there's the baby wearing specialist. Then there's the
Yeah.
breastfeeding, and there's all these
Yeah.
different things in one
Yes.
building.
Yes.
We just think about how many parents we could support
Yeah.
in just in one day. Just
Yeah.
having that
Well,
space.
that's it.
It'd be
You
amazing.
need like essentially a baby supermarket, not to
Yeah,
obtain
basically.
babies, but
You need like
but
we have like the giant like the H Marts here, like the huge like Asian grocery stores that have like a food court and they have the grocery shopping and they have the
Yes.
stores, and like you need like all of that, but like for
that's what we need
baby care.
Yeah.
for
Oh,
for children up to 5, like
Yeah.
at a
the
minimum.
dream.
Yeah,
Maybe
The
like a little
dream.
coffee shop or something inside too.
Obviously,
Yeah.
yes. But also things like
obviously.
obviously a coffee shop and a bookshop. Thank you very much.
Nah,
See,
Lorna and I, we went book shopping at the weekend as well, so it was lovely. We go a lot
yeah.
of book
So we need
shopping.
bookshop, but
We
also
could go off on a big tangent talking about book recommendations
wait.
as well, I
Then we
think.
We will
should,
wait.
but
We will wait. But like things like that, you don't get to do. So if there was somewhere that you could leave your wee one
Yeah.
safely in the same building or room, and you
Right.
could go get a haircut, get
Yeah.
things
Yeah. That would
like
be so
personal care
nice.
things that a
Yes.
lot of parents
Just
lose
go
out
take an
on.
everything bath for like an
Yes.
hour.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, that'd be amazing. But someone to
dare
do
to
all the
dream.
everything bits
yeah.
for you. Now
Yeah, yeah, they just set it
that's just
up.
getting
You
too
just get
far,
to
but
like
that'd be
lay there.
nice.
Yeah.
Essentially, you remember the movie Miss Congeniality, where she
Yes,
walks
yes,
into
just
the
like
airport
that.
hangar?
But
Yes.
someone there holding your baby and
Yes.
leaving you chocolate instead.
Yes.
Well,
That sounds great. Let's do that.
right. Well, I think we've definitely we don't want to go
Covered a
over
lot.
any more time, but we'll have more questions for you. And if anyone has stuck with us for this chaotic, educating and exciting session, if you have been listening and you've enjoyed it and you want to ask Jordan more questions, please pop it in the captions or
Yeah.
down below. And we will get back to you, and hopefully we'll have some more from Jordan, because this has just been lots of fun.
Yeah, that was
as
too
well.
fun. We need to do like a quarterly like pop in or something.
Definitely, yay. Amazing. Well, thank you very, very much for sticking with us. And it's been great fun. So thanks everyone, and we will catch you on next one.
Bye.